the additive, and what had happened was the plug that does the regen and the burn wasn't heating up, so it wasn't doing a reburn on it. So that's the only unit.
Why would they put that on
It says it's gonna be required by 2025?
Fire apparatus should be exempt. If you're racing to a fire and now you've got to pull over the side of the road for 30 minutes and regen?
No, they actually regen while they run now.
Huh?
They'll regen. It's not like the older ones where they had to sit in high idle.
Okay, that's
they'll,
what I'm...
they'll regen, but
While in motion.
my understanding they did.
Okay.
Mr. Robertson, Mr. Young, is Mission Lane wide enough to run an engine at regular speed, or is it involve slow speeds like if you're going to Kennedy Lane? What's the risk?
Excuse me, what was the question?
Mission Lane, is it wide enough to handle an emergency response vehicle adequately or at a restricted speed?
Well, we don't typically drive at any different speed just because in a residential area, the things that contribute your rate of travel are the kids, the cars,
Right.
vehicles, things like that.
Day, night, weather, all those factors.
Kennedy itself is very narrow.
Right.
Where the others all basically meet the county standard for the width of the road for what it's used for.
20 feet?
If 2 lanes 20, 16 is residential, right, Scott? We just had this discussion about the width of the road.
20 foot's minimum for a fire lane. You're going to be wider for a public road, and drives can be as narrow as 12 feet for a private drive, 16 feet for a commercial driveway. Gates have to be 2 feet wider than any approach.
Kennedy's 90 foot?
Kennedy is substandard, and we typically will not take a piece of equipment down Kennedy Lane because of just clearances and the potential for being stuck. Fortunately, there's a fire hydrant at the end of Kennedy Lane, which came in very handy when we had that fire at San Pablo. We did not send any fire apparatus up Kennedy Lane. We sent fire apparatus up Mike Sanders' easement through Gregory Campbell's property, and that worked very well.
So were you getting around to something?
The question was, Mission Lane, how wide is that?
Mission Lane is at least 20 foot wide.
Okay. So we're not gonna have to ask the marijuana farm to widen Mission Lane and put in a nice little.
Might be a good idea.
There's a lot to that project, and is that what you're asking me about?
Right, because I
Milos Day Springs in particular, or Mission Lane, or Mission Lane versus Magdalena?
Going in off of that property, and I didn't know if that's gonna restrict the abilities for us to run fire engines up Mission Lane, or.
Currently, I did meet with the owners of Halos Day Springs, not the owners, but the owners consultants on Monday. We had an on-site visit at 10 a.m. We walked the property, and I made a recommendation that they have a secondary access for fire. And that secondary access, my recommendation was to come off of Mission Lane. We don't want to be trapped within the facility. It's a lot of things going on in there and a lot of flammable materials. So just walking the property with the consultants and making a recommendation, the next day I actually had a revised set of drawings that showed an access off of Mission Lane. So they're very receptive to what we're looking for. It was incomplete as far as the letter of the code for a fire access, but they are willing to work with us. So it's my opinion that there will be a primary fire lane off of Mission Lane, and the road access off of River Road will be the primary access for day-to-day activities and things of that nature.
Okay.
There also, I don't know if you're aware of it, we're going to get off course here, but we're talking about Mission Lane. There is a project on the books. It was brought through from the county, reviewed and approved, and there is an access road that is going from Magdalena to Mission Lane, and it's a 30-foot easement that will have a 16-foot wide road, and basically it's going to cut the backside of Rainbow's End and go straight through.
Oh. Is that Darleon now?
That's the lane.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Any other questions, comments? Consent calendar. Is there any items that directors wish poll for discussion.
I got a new program.
Is there a motion to approve the consent calendar?
A motion? I'll second.
Director Calvins,
Yes.
Director Palafox,
Yes.
Director Sangster,
Yes.
President Green.
Yes.
Passes 4-0, 1 absent.
Board action items: review, discuss, receive, and file the enumeration of financial report for July 2019.
One thing I'd like to make a comment, out of those sections, D, the budget versus actuals, I would like you guys not to, receive and file, because the budget module did not, add in the current budget. It's calculating with last year's, budget, and it's something that Paula has to go in and review with Black Mountain to update the current, budget, so this part, works out. So just this report in itself, I would ask that you don't receive and file because it's not accurate, and the accurate one will be brought forth in the next meeting.
So you,
Just the,
are there any questions?
I would like to add, I actually called down to our, and I can't remember her name, about the court case that we're involved in. The embezzlement case, they're setting a pre-trial August 29th at 8:30 to determine if it's going to be, if they need to do a jury trial. And anybody's welcome to go.
You hear that, Elaine?
August 29th at 8:30. Division.
No, but I can find that out for you.
This is the hearing?
It's a pre-trial.
It's a pre-trial hearing to discuss if it's gonna be a judge or jury trial.
Lily knows all four. I'm sorry, no.
there was another case in this county similar to that one that just went to court, and the verdict and the sentence handed down was probation.
What was the amount on it?
So it was in the same vicinity, 30-something thousand.
How many years probation?
I think it was 2, something like that. It was real lean.
Was it public or private funds that were stolen?
Is the school considered?
Okay.
Public.
That's public.
Yeah, the band money, wasn't it?
Yes.
And I thought if they didn't pay it back, they had to go to jail.
Controller's life.
I thought that was the condition.
Helene, you can help me out with this, but a new state law on restitution is mandatory to the full cost. There's no discretion.
If the judge finds, if there's a settlement, the judge finds that she's going to be convicted under that specific statute, then yes, it's always full restitution. And that's what he's recommending. That's what the district attorney is recommending.
Couldn't find it. Okay. Is there any public comment or questions on the report? Certainly.
I clarified about the budget because that was one of my questions, but page 9 of 15 on the claims detail, that's the very end one. Paula, can you kind of explain those transfers? It has all the transfers from Pacific vehicle replacement to capital reserve.
We're gonna be talking about that here. I think that's the next item.
It's the next item.
It's the loan that we're.
Oh, it's separate, okay.
It's the loan.
Okay, good, and that will, it will answer that.
Yeah.
I had, one other question, again, about the cash report, which I really like, and I like the clarifications that are happening there. some of the, money like fire is the bank water projects money that's transferred in?
We'll be able to explain some of that. First of all, those accounts have the name of them and their purpose have been changed. That still hasn't been changed as the name of that account.
So it's further clarification.
Correct, and they're, all the monies, I've gone over this with Paula and Darcia for the last week, and all the transfers have been made, and there's things in there that look like questions, but it's, the money's, it's in there, it's just not identified separately.
Right, it's hard to see what came from where. Sometimes you see where something went, but not where it came from.
Correct, and those issues have been addressed.
Yeah, okay, great, that's it, thank you.
Well, we need to see.
Claims clearing fund?
It's huge.
One of two. The cash report.
What's the claims clearing fund?
That's for when we go to pay our bills, all the money sits in there until we post it, and then the bank, Rock Mountain releases it.
I see.
So it's kind of like it's a weird system in that respect, because we think when we're writing a check, the money's gone. Black Mountain shows it being there until we actually reconcile the bank account, and then it disperses it.
I see.
On the first page, where we're talking about July income versus July expenses,
Where are you at, sir? What page?
page 115 of the packet,
Okay.
so it's the first page, it's not, it's got the agenda item information on it.
So site report. Pretty much.
Yes.
Yes.
So we've got July income at $164,318, $164,318, and an expense of $188,300. So it's roughly $24,000 short, that's not including payroll.
We had our liability insurance, we had all of our bills come up. Liability insurance, I think, was workers' comp was like $58,000.
So all the year-end closures for the fiscal year were all added in there, so a lot of the one-time expenses were added into that, and it is more. And then the income side of it doesn't all come in at that same time, so it's showing more went out than what came in, because it was the end of the fiscal year.
Yeah, the SDR made liability workers' comp is $58,000, that's not something that we pay every month. We have the LAFCO was $6,785. Fire Chiefs Association, $2,325. What else is out of the ordinary? Those were some of our bigger players.
Okay.
Is that why the percentage, follow the percentage of the expense for payroll? Is that why that was high this month?
No, that was high because, we had, comp time and vacation time payouts. You either use it or lose it, and so some of the employees chose to get paid out for that. So that was a big hit too.
Okay.
You can see the payroll.
And then the claims details report, page 915, I think what Roberta was alluding to, the interfund transaction. That's to clear up previous accounting.
That's part of the loan stuff that we're gonna be talking about.
Okay.
So that would be, we can explain it.
It's the next step.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is there any other board questions, comments? So is there a motion?
Motion to file with the exception of item D.
Yeah, that's what it would be.
Yes, motion to file minus item D.
Second?
Rick Powell.
Yes.
Richard Sangster.
Yes.
Richard Calvin.
Yes.
President Green.
Yes.
Passes 4-0, 1 absent. Receiving and filing, exempting D.
Approve resolution 2019-29 authorizing an interfund loan of $200,000 from lighting fund 30 to water fund 50 to correct a negative balance in the water fund, and authorizing the interim general manager to execute a promissory note on behalf of the district.
Okay, so we're bringing this to you because we've reconciled all the accounts. The accounts have been broken out into operation, your capital reserves, your budget reserves. That's what some of those names need to be changed to, like the water project fund that has been changed. And each fund has those reserves, the restricted, the operating, and then your regular account that you work out of. After going through all of them, they've all been reconciled as of the 16th of this month. The one that's in a negative cash is the water. It's $166,936.53 to the negative, and that's mainly due to litigation expenses, and it brought that down. Our lighting department, I can say exactly how much was in there. So it's not the, let me get the right number for you, I don't want to give you the wrong number. Lighting, 480, 750, 19. And
Say again?
it's gonna be $480,750.19.
I don't see that anywhere on my cash.
Trial balance,
I don't think they
They
have.
don't have that.
they're not, okay, so they don't have this one?
So
It
we
can
have
be
we have a
sent to
beginning
you.
balance, we have received, we have transfers in, we have dispersed, we have transfers out, and we ended up with $620,430. And I'll be honest with you, I don't understand that.
Okay, what report are you looking at, so we're all looking at
I'm
the
back
same?
on your cash report.